Welcome to Ladder Safety 101. In this course, we're going to cover 4 main topics of ladder safety. The first is choosing the right ladder for the job. Second, inspect the ladder. Third, handling and setup. And finally, proper climbing. So number 1, choosing the right ladder for the job. Ladders come in wood, aluminum, fiberglass. They also come in different ratings from 200 up to 375. You need to make sure that if you're in an industrial application, you're using a fiberglass ladder rated at least 250 pounds or better. A 200-pound ladder is only rated as a household product. Now, you want to choose the right style of ladder. Often you see people take an A-frame ladder, close it up, lean it against the wall, and climb it like an extension ladder, and that's against the rules. Always climb an A-frame ladder when you need an A-frame ladder, or an extension ladder when you need to get up on a roof, or when you're leaning against a wall. Lastly, you want to make sure that you're choosing the right height of ladder. A lot of times people climb up on the top rung or the top cap of a ladder because they chose too short of a ladder. It works the other way as well. If you take too long of an extension ladder and put it up against a house, it'll be at too steep of an angle, not the proper 4-to-1 angle that you need. So the right material, the right rating, the right style, and the right length. Now, inspecting. When do you inspect the ladder? Before every time you use it. Now, this isn't a long, drawn-out inspection. It's a visual inspection that you do as you take the ladder on and off the ladder rack. First thing you're going to look for is the feet of your ladder. The feet of the ladder are like the tires on your truck. They have tread so that they grip. If that tread is worn off, they need to be replaced. So look at those feet, make sure that they're in proper condition. Next thing is the side rails. Now, with side rails and rungs, anytime it's broken, cracked, split, or bent, it's bad. Don't climb it. That's easy, right? What about fiberglass that's faded and worn out from being out in the sun? Now, if it's faded, that doesn't mean that it's bad. But if it starts to split the surface and crack, that's when it needs to be replaced. Now, make sure that all your connections, ropes, rivets, bolts, spreader bars are all tight. You don't want to be able to climb up on a ladder, have the ladder move, and cause you to lose your balance because of the movement in the ladder. Now, ladders aren't meant to be walked. It's a lot easier to just get down and move the ladder than it is to try and walk it across the ground. And that causes those connections to become wobbly. So never walk a ladder. Let's talk about proper handling and setup. Now, the majority of recordable injuries on ladders are caused from handling. Taking the ladder on and off a truck, carrying it to the job site, or losing control of it as you try and set it up. So use caution as you take it down off of the ladder rack. Make sure that you don't drop the end of the ladder on the ground as you're taking it down. That causes damage over time to that bottom of those side rails. As you're carrying it, get a proper balance point so that you don't lose control of it as you're carrying it. Always keep the front of the ladder just slightly up, elevated, and keep control of it as you get it over there to the job site. Once you get into place to set it up, make sure that it's on as level of ground as it possibly can be. Never build up the low side of the ladder with bricks or boards. Level out the product or use a leveling device. Now, as you set the ladder up, you always want to make sure that you're looking for hazards above. Make sure that you're not going up into power lines or into tree branches that would cause you to lose control. Set the ladder up, an extension ladder up at a 4-to-1 angle, 75.5 degrees. The easiest way to do that, put your toes at the base of the ladder, hold your hands straight out, and put it on the rung at shoulder height. Your body is built at a 4-to-1 ratio. That'll get you pretty close to your proper climbing angle. If you're set up near the corner of a building or someplace where someone's going to come around and run into the ladder while you're on it, always mark the territory. Put out some cones or some tape to let people know to use caution as they come around the corner. Never set up in front of a doorway, especially one that opens outward. And if you have to work in that area, make sure that that doorway is blocked off properly. Now you set the ladder up properly. How are you going to climb it? Starting from the ground, you want to make sure, number one, that you just use caution, making sure that you remember that ladders are safety equipment. Some of the most common accidents on a ladder happen on the bottom two rungs. Sounds kind of silly, but you're coming down a ladder, you think you're at the bottom and you're not paying attention and you step off. It's just like walking down a staircase and thinking you're at the bottom and doing that weird step at the bottom. Happens all the time, so you need to use caution as you climb up and down a ladder. Now, as you ascend and descend, you want to maintain 3 points of contact. 2 feet, 1 hand, 2 hands, 1 foot. This rule is really to keep you from carrying armloads of stuff as you climb up a ladder. All the tools that you need to do the job need to be brought up on a pulley system or a rope after you're safely in place. Never carry big bulky items up and down a ladder, and especially do not exceed the weight rating of the ladder between your weight and the equipment that you are carrying. Always keep your belt buckle between the side rails of the ladder as you climb. Now, this rule is intended to keep you from overreaching. If it's something is just outside of your reach, you need to climb down, move the ladder over, and climb back up to get it. Do not grab a hold of the ladder, stick your leg out, and try to balance yourself to overreach. This is very dangerous. If you're climbing up onto an elevated platform or up onto a roof, always make sure that your extension ladder is at least 3 rungs above that roof line. That gives you something to transition on and off of that platform or onto that roof with. Now, just a couple of more do's and don'ts on a ladder. Always face the ladder as you climb. Ladders are meant to be climbed by one person at a time, so don't climb up even if somebody needs a hand. Never climb up the backside of an A-frame ladder. Those are not rungs. And remember, if one ladder is good, 2 ladders isn't better. So never lash 2 ladders together to get more height. Now, we've eliminated all of the possibilities of the ladder causing the accident by choosing the right one and inspecting it to make sure that it's in proper condition. Hopefully, we've eliminated the user as being part of the accident through training, but we know that people take shortcuts. We know that people try and get the job done with the wrong tools or too quickly. And so we know that ladder accidents happen. How do we know? Well, we have the statistics and we have the accident reports. And so we know exactly how ladders are used and, more importantly, how they're misused. We can use this information to design a better product. Stop climbing Grandpa's ladder and let's make improvements to keep the climber safer through design. Now, what are the 3 common types of injuries reported from ladder-related accidents? Number 1 is strains and sprains because ladders are too heavy and too bulky. Think about a 28-foot extension ladder. It's 14 feet long in the storage position, and it weighs about 72 pounds. So handling that with a 5 to 6 foot person is going to be difficult. A lot of strain and sprain injuries just due to handling and setting up. Now, problem number 2 is a result of problem number 1. Problem number 1 is ladders weigh too much. Problem number 2 is people use the wrong ladder for the job. Now, this can be using an aluminum ladder when you really should have a fiberglass ladder, or using an A-frame when you really should have an extension. But mostly what it means is, if I have a choice between a 6-foot A-frame and a 10-foot A-frame, I'm always going to carry the 6-foot A-frame because of the weight, even though the 10-foot is what I really need to get the job done. When I get to the job site, set it up, and find out that it's not tall enough, I don't want to go back and get the proper size ladder. So I try and make the shorter ladder work by climbing up on that top rung or the top cap of the ladder where I'm not supposed to be. And this is a cause of some of the more serious life-altering accidents and disabilities. Now, the last type of accident is caused from overreaching, falls from height due to overreaching on either an A-frame ladder or an extension ladder. You see it all the time. The last thing you need to get is just a little bit out of reach. You balance yourself, hold on and reach over there to try and get that last little thing. This is the cause of most of the fatalities and disabilities associated with ladder-related accidents. Now, in the United States today, 2,000 people will go to the hospital with ladder-related injuries. Fortunately, most of those will be bumps and bruises. Unfortunately, for 100 of those people, they'll be permanently disabled today. And 1 to 2 people today will be fatalities and won't make it home. So how do we solve this problem knowing what causes these accidents? Now, problem number 1, ladder's way too much. Easy solution, make the ladder lighter. With a proprietary fiberglass composite material, we were able to take a 72-pound, 28-foot extension ladder and bring it down to 50 pounds. Some other issues there are handling and setting up. We put wheels on a lot of our ladders so that they're easy to roll around. You don't have to carry them. We've moved the rope on an extension ladder from the middle, where it's a trip hazard, over to the side. That allowed us to double pulley the rope, reducing the force necessary to raise and lower that fly section. So again, allowing you more control as you set up that ladder, reducing the strain and sprain injuries. Problem number 2, not picking the right ladder for the job. Now, again, we've lowered the weight of the ladder to start with. We've added wheels to make it easy to choose the right ladder, but we've also made it adjustable. So a select step will adjust from 6 feet in the storage position to 8 and 10. Now, those are the 3 most common sizes of A-frame ladders, 6, 8, and 10. Now that will also be 7 and 9. And it will also adjust to a staircase. What do you do in a staircase if you don't have a ladder that will adjust to a staircase? You have to rig something up that's going to be unsafe. So use the proper ladder for a staircase. Now, with an A-frame ladder, the higher up you go, the further away you get from your work. You're twisting your torso, working off the side of the ladder and reaching to try and get to your work. By adjusting the ladder 1 rung down on one side, we go into a 90-degree position. This allows you to go right up against a wall or into a tight corner or up against a vehicle and work directly into the job facing it and not leaning the ladder against the surface of against the work surface. What do you do with an extension ladder that's 28 feet in the air? With the Little Giant, we added outriggers. Outriggers that more than double the base of the ladder, provides that extra stability, increases the side tip stability of the ladder 600%. Now, a lot of tip accidents are caused because of the levelness of the ground. With a 28-foot extension ladder, if you're 1 inch off at the bottom, your ladder is 19 inches off at the top. That means even if you keep your ladder between the side rails, that ladder is going to tip over because you're already outside of the footprint of your ladder. So leveling the ladder is a big issue with overreaching. Now the outriggers help, but leveling will even help more. So each one of these outriggers is able to adjust up to 9 inches, 1/8 of an inch at a time. So set up your ladder, deploy your outriggers, look at the level on the side of your ladder that tells you whether you're level or not, and then just adjust one side down to work off of a nice, firm climbing surface. Now, that's what you do to stabilize an extension ladder. How about a tall A-frame ladder? Now, we've all run into those issues with 3 points of contact or tie-off from above rules. A product that we came up with is called an aerial safety cage. It's a combination of the handrail platform of a scaffolding built onto an adjustable fiberglass base. Rated at 375 pounds, adjustable on either side, platform adjusts up to 14 feet, giving you over 20-foot work surface while in an enclosed basket at the top of a fiberglass ladder. So stability through design. Problem 1, problem 2, problem 3. Ladder's way too much. People use the wrong ladder for the job. People overreach and fall from heights. Solutions: make the ladder lighter, make it multi-purpose and adjustable, add stability through outriggers or through a cage. Safety through design. This has been Ladder Safety 101. Thank you for your attention and climb safe.